This makes
kind of
a
in
good
your
picture.
shadow there. Just get out of
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, you do better.
Let's see. This one was Oswald
Right.
and Columbers. We went past that spot.
Columber, yeah.
Columber, yeah.
Yeah.
And the
And
Chambers
the
is.
Lions has this off on top of the grade where the gyp mine is. And
Oh,
that up there.
And then
And here's the Bitterwater
the
School.
Selects, of course, we know them. And
yeah.
more Chambers, small. Down this way somewhere is the Tullys, weren't they?
Yeah, well, clear back over all this
Okay,
country here.
here's Edward Tully.
Yeah, all of that. They go clear over and over the mountains.
Oh, I see. Way up in there, yeah. How about that? There's a few names I don't recognize, but an awful lot of names I do recognize. It's really something.
Bert is telling us something.
Okay, so we're going to go get it.
I was just a little fella in those old days.
Roy Bray.
But that anthrax, while we're talking about that, that's a cattle disease. Can you hear me back there a little bit? All right. And anyway, anthrax is a deadly, and it's still prevailing. I know Irvin and I, a few years ago, we rented a lot of land down by Lost Hills out there where Miller and Lux used to own the land. We vaccinated all our cattle for anthrax over there. And people are still losing them. And this ranch, when the new foreman came up here, changed hands, he didn't believe in it. He didn't think it was around. First thing you know, he lost 4 animals with anthrax. He didn't vaccinate. So that's how bad anthrax is. It's still prevailing. Well, I can tell you, that was the Miller and Lux, no, that was the George Riss place. Miller and Lux Ranch is the peach tree up here. It was, 41,000 acres, I think. And Mr. Stireman from New Mexico, he owns the property now. And then he bought this ranch also. This was the George Riss place. And he owns that one also now. And I've been here. My dad moved out here when I was just a little brat. I was born in 1990. I think it was about 1912. Dad bought property right over here, adjoining this.
You're not the only one born in 1909.
No, there's a lot. I went to school with a boy. I just bring this out. He was born the same day I was.
Oh.
Barney Barbree family.
Yeah.
But they weren't out here where they were.
No, over in Oasis. But we went all through high school together.
Oh.
He died of appendicitis after he got out of high school. And here it said he was born October the 18th, 1909. We didn't know that, the two of us, when we were going to school. But you think about those things now, I could give a hint to the school board to put all these names, and they must have their birth dates in the office there of all the students. So that's a project I got to follow up.
Roy, if you ever want the data, the old data on anybody that was born in the county, you can go up to Salinas and go in the clerk's office up there, and they have the old file.
The old courthouse there, yeah.
It doesn't have me on
No.
But they didn't have me on there.
You're not old enough.
We don't know. As we're talking about this country here, this man that owns the property, Kevin and I own now. And he was a village blacksmith here, and I used to come over and turn the old forge for him when I lived over here with my dad and mom. And he'd shoe horses. He was a little fella. And the great big horses, you've seen people shoe horses, pick up their legs and all. George Baldwin, I don't know how he wrestled those horses around. But he knew how. You've got to practice and know what you're doing. But I used to come and turn the blowers for him and things like that. I enjoyed it very much. We got a long time. And then when he passed away, his wife moved away. And Evelyn, Evelyn had a sister Carol living in San Francisco. We stopped there one time. I didn't have anything to do. I went downtown and I walked by the Crocker First National Bank. And I remember when I used to work for him, I drove his tractor farm. He'd give me a check on the Crocker First National Bank. And I walked him. I said, I'm going in and ask him what happened to that ranch. And by golly, the fellow that I had to go upstairs somewhere, 10 or 12 floors, because the receptionist told me to go and talk to him up there. And he told me, yes, the ranch is for sale, that Mrs. Baldwin had fell and broke her hip in a store in San Francisco. And she had property in Napa. It just shows all us that are getting older watch our P's and Q's. Some shyster came along and knew about that property, traded her some mud flat lots at Berkeley for that good property up in Napa, and she was broke. The bank, that's all she had left was those mud flats. So the bank had, and she had this ranch. So then it was up for sale, and the appraiser came down. His name was Pardo Hooper. If anybody ever had the pleasure of meeting him, he appraised it and went back to the Crocker Bank, and then Urban and I got into the huddle and with the bank, and we were able to purchase it. So that's how come Evelyn and I are here. then Urban, oh, that's right. Urban and I had this ranch together. Then Urban had a chance to buy the ranch where the family has down there now. So I had to rustle up some money to give him some money to buy that ranch. so we're all sitting all right now.
But you didn't have to sell this one, did you?
No,
right?
no, we didn't sell this one. No. You could pass that around. I've got an old ledger book that Mr. Baldwin had here. He had a saloon on this lot. And in 1879, he charged a lot of drinks. 2 bits of drink. You remember him, Baldwin?
Oh, yes.
Sure. There's a few of them here that do remember Baldwin.
I remember he had square nails in that old blacksmith shop.
Pardon?
He had square nails in
Oh,
that old
sure.
blacksmith
Oh, lots
shop.
of square nails in the old buildings.
Uh-huh.
The way they put them up years ago.
That isn't the original old blacksmith building, is it, Roy?
It was, yeah.
Over
But-
here?
Yeah, but they put the tin over it after they moved it across the road. They covered it
Okay.
with the metal. But you ought to see the inside. It's all wood. And it's got he made cattle brands for the people. And every time he made a brand, like you see them, they still do it. They'll brand the wall. And that wall, and I got it covered over with pins there now for pipe pins and so forth. But that wall is just solid with cattle brands. I wish I could look at him again. But he was a great man, all right. He had and you ought to see the things that when we first came here, I wish I had taken a picture. Maybe some of you remember the windmill that was on top of the barn. There was a windmill on top of that barn, and it didn't go up and down. It rotated, and it came down in there and ground grain for the horses or the stock. And it put the grain in. The bins are still there, the wooden bins. But I took the wind. I wish you don't think about those things. I'd taken a picture of it.
Yeah.
Because it came down, and the well was in the barn too.
Mm-hmm.
And when it got down there, he had a construction made. That's where that was rotating.
Uh-huh.
It
That's
turned
my
around and raised it.
granddad. I thought he'd be in.
Pump water
Is
out.
that the saloon? Oh, sure, he'd be.
You know,
I bet there's more than one Tully there, too.
We'll have to look.
necessity is the mother of invention, isn't it? I've heard that for years, but not recently.
Finding granddad.
Right, Tully's got a whole
Yeah,
page.
Uncle Bud. Oh, God.
Uncle Bud, there's-
Oh,
Yeah.
oh golly.
Names of all the neighbors that came down.
Oh, this is
1879.
precious.
He had a saloon on this lot here.
Could I
Drinks
make
were-
a copy
drinks
of
were
this
2 bits apiece.
sometime, Roy? Isn't that precious?
I bet it was better made than it is today.
I'd like to have it.
Well, I don't know. Any questions you want to ask me, any further?
Tell us about the house here.
Well, it was all put together by a carpenter by the name of Jack Dempsey.
The
Yeah,
prize
my mother-
fighter?
My mother knew him. They moved that building on that end, where the door, you see the door going into it, was here. But that was a saloon, that room. And then he built the rest. I guess he did. I don't know. I haven't. But Mother said that.
There's another Calhoun. Oh, boy, he died with a whiskey bottle in his hand.
My mother was
Another
born right in
Baldwin.
this field, right up the road here. The old times, the old Ede family.
Oh,
I don't
yes,
know what any of you
yes,
knew,
I
the old
should say.
parents. I got pictures of my old grandfather. He stood up. He raised 13 kids with a switch. He had to, but he stood up straight.
Wait, Roy, where was that were they up the road? You said this way to the north. Where your mother's family lived was up.
Just out of sight, right here. See that last green oak tree on the hill?
Yeah.
Well, just below that.
Oh, I see.
They worked. Old man Tompkins owned it.
Right in the front?
All this country.
Well, we got one of the relatives here.
Which one is that?
Wilma.
Wilma?
There she is.
Tompkins.
Tompkins.
No,
Oh, Tompkins.
Tompkins.
Yeah, well.
That's Wilma. That's Wilma.
No, she,
Tom-
her father was Tompkins.
Willis.
No.
Willis and Mabel are the mother and father of that young lady.
Oh, the young lady. Oh,
There she
I-
is. There she
No, not Wilma
No,
Taylor.
no.
No.
We all Tully, that's right. That's
I
right,
knew,
Frank Tully,
I
yeah,
knew all
Tully.
of Tompkins.
Calhoun.
In fact, my mother, that's
Oh,
how,
here's an
my
Oswald.
mother said how.
Oh,
how-
And look at Roberta comes.
There's an Oswald in here.
It's not there.
Anyway, the Tompkins family
Yeah.
owned all this property from sheep. And my mother, before my mother was born,
Excuse me.
he's, Tompkins sent back for my mother's father and mother. They were living in Illinois, Champaign, Illinois. She always talked about that. Or they went back there, but they came out here and they worked for old man Tompkins, herding sheep, took care of them. He had all putting everything you can see around you. And then it was split up later. But mother was born. She showed me the spot up there later.
Did Tompkins homestead the area, Roy? This was homestead country, or?
You'd have to look in the records for that. Well, I'm sure they a lot of this country up here, I know that I own it now, but I see where it was homesteaded. And then the fellow that owned the biggest portion of the property, he bought out the homestead. That's how they acquired it. They got these homesteaders that were maybe working for them
Uh-huh.
and proved up on the land. And then they sold it.
Great Grandpa Smith, came from England to this area in 1854 and homesteaded over on my ranch.
Yeah, well, that's how and then your family bought some more land joining it.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of these properties were put together years ago.
Roy, didn't the original house burn down where your mom and dad lived?
No, they part of the original is back there. Old Frank Norton, you remember?
Yeah,
Oh.
worked for Harold.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
He moved it back.
Yeah.
No, nothing burnt that I know of. No, the Wrist House burnt down.
You buy around for
Did this house burn, Emily? No?
No,
I know.
none of these. The only house that burnt down that I know of was the Wrist House, way back in the teens.
They have a fire here too? They have a fire here?
They haven't had a fire.
We had a fireplace in the old house, yeah. It could have burnt down.
And Grady and Juanita live there now.
Yeah, but not, they're living in the newer house.
In the newer
that
house.
Built in 37.
Roy, can we see the old house? Is that behind
That's
the
part
tree,
of
or?
it. That's part of it.
Part
It
of
was a
what's behind.
two-story house. It was a
Oh, I
rooming
see.
house.
I see. It was a rooming house. Huh?
Hotel and the rest.
Yeah, in the,
It was-
in the
oh,
old
it
days.
was.
Yeah, people would come by on their horse and team or wagon. Or,
And the Rists ran it then?
no, John Rist.
John Rist.
John Rist owned it. Yes, Dad bought the property from John Rist. He was a brother to Henry Rist.
I see.
Henry Rist and Fred Rist. Anybody here remember Fred Rist and the old peddling wagon? Sure. Well, anyway, Fred, they always used to call it down there where that tree is. I guess Fred Rist had a homestead. And they call it, the windmill used to be there. That was, always identify that as the Fred Rist windmill. But it's taken down now. But I'm sure that was his homestead, and then he sold out to the Griffin family, and they acquired it. That was another large operation. The Griffin.
The Griffins. Yeah.
Griffin. Griffin.
I am.
Yeah.
And the Rist house that burnt, was it over
It
where?
was over there. It was down. Well, you see the windmill from there, and the
Oh,
black
yeah.
tank.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
sure did.
left of that black tank down this way.
I see.
That's where the old house was.
And that's where Bill is today, isn't it?
No, well, he lives in the yellow house on the hill.
Oh, yes, uh-huh, yeah,
No, the old house burned down. See, that's where the old house burned.
right.
It's gone. That was when I was a little kid.
And we spell it D,
Yep.
it should be D.
Well, then
Anybody got any questions they want to
Yeah.
ask Rod?
ask me fast because I'm running out of room. I want. Oh, I gotta paint that over again. Huh?
It looks good.
Yeah, the aluminum or the paint is coming off. I seen that.
Oh, did
I want to know how long since they sold after the class. How long has it been since they sold?
Well, I didn't. I bought the place in '35.
Oh, and they were. It was already. You weren't selling any gasoline.
No, I never sold any gas.
Oh,
Well, I
see.
might have somebody that came along out of gas
Yeah.
on the 5 gallons or so, but no. He used to put a sign out here, putting her in the middle of the road. The old man Baldwin. Red Crown gasoline. Red Crown, that was the insignia for Standard Oil.
Now, Howard knows some about the post office, and you do too. Howard, I wonder if you could say where the post office was around here, right around here. You were talking about it a little while ago.
Well, in Lonoak, it moved to many different places.
Yeah. It moved. It was here.
It was here.
Then it went over
To.
to my dad and mom's place.
Uh-huh.
Then it went up the road to Ernest Bengard. You know the Bengard family in Venus?
Yes.
And anyway, they had a place up here. So they took the post office. Then it went up to Maggie Trout. She run the post office. Then it went to, it went up there. And that was the last, I guess.
To Oswald's?
Right, Helen, Dutch Helen.
Yeah, that's right. That's where it was. Yeah, that was the last stop.
Yeah,
I think
they closed it. when
closed
Helen-
it. Now we get our mail. It'll be coming along. Maybe it's already came, but they'll deliver mail out of King City.
Which house was that in, Roberta? Where the post office last was, Helen?
The one, with the tile roof, you know.
Oh yeah, I know it. The white house with the title. Yeah. Mhm.
Here comes our mail coming now. See?
There's the mail now.
The horse and buggy.
Right.
Dawn,
I can't think.
No, that was Jenny Gifford's dad.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Dawn Bowman.
Coleman, that's it. That's it. Down the road, right out of sight.
It's still there.
It's
Still there.
The house is still there. Two-story house. Mr. Watkins, Dean Watkins, up in the Bay Area, he and his wife bought the ranch. And they come down about every weekend.
Oh, they do.
He
Did
just,
they buy it from Heman Eve? Heman
no, they bought it from Elmer.
Elmer?
Elmerville Airwin.
Okay,
Heman died.
okay,
We knew it was for sale.
right. Stephen died, huh?
Yeah, we know some of the families.
Howard, what do you think was the first post office here? And what year and
No,
Right.
I don't know.
My grandfather.
That's what it says in some book, but I don't.
It doesn't, well, that's,
And that must be here.
that was your grandfather?
what did I do with that? Oh, they got the
Bousfield. Oh, that's right. That's Pearl. Yeah, and that's
Bothfield. We called it Bothfield.
Bousfield. I've heard it both ways.
Yeah.
But Pearl knows
Well,
that she's in the
you're
family.
one way and I'm telling you another way.
Right.
Some of the family wants to say Bosfield, yeah. Well, we say Bosfield, and I think that's what the chef said.
Yeah.
Was there some,
There
their
was
father
the mail
or
truck, huh?
somebody wanted to
Oh,
say
you can
Bosfield?
pronounce it.
It was just their own way.
Well, let's see. Is
But
there,
Bosfield's,
Right. You might know that down in the Bousfields were down in Indian Valley, remember? And we have
that
a.
came later. Oh, I went to school with Lee Bothfield and Roy
Oh, you.
Bothfield. Yeah, up here. The old Peachtree School.
But
Their dad.
Yeah.
I don't remember, because that was.
No, you
before
didn't
I
come
was-
then. You came later.
Go ahead, Dan.
Their dad drove stage from Soledad
Soledad.
Yeah, through the
down
hills.
through here, and that's how they met my great grandmother, which was a wrist and was involved in the Lonoak post office.
Right. Now they were. I know they had the store at Big Sandy there at Indian Valley, and they were selling that. I saw the ad of that being sold. And that was in I think late 1890s, wasn't it? That was a long time ago, anyway. From the San Miguel Messenger.
Right, because my grandmother was born in '88 in Linden Valley. They were in that area around that time.
Very
Your
good.
mom.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, gee whiz. Well,
And then evidently my mother went to the Peachtree School, but I don't remember when.
She came up here when she was 9 years
Might
old.
be ready to
She
go
stayed
on.
with John.
Okay, ready to go on.
Yeah.
why, were you going to school at that same time?
No, I don't remember what she told me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he can't remember what you told him.
That's
right. He gets the word
It's school site, for people to see what it was.
Bill knows. He's a native of Bitterwater area, a little further up the road.
Bill Bartosh, good to meet you.
Let's see. Where's Alma? Or she was.
Alma's right over here. They're right there.
Oh yeah, she's right there.
With Mom and Chicken.
How you doing? Where you living? Clingo yet?
I'm living in San Luis Obispo now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you worked over around Morro Bay or somewhere. In that area.
Roy, I wonder if one thing about you told me about the Peachtree School. Did you go to school there?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I first started up to this building, up there, the Tully School.
Oh, at the Tully School.
It was only about 2 doors long.
Oh, is that right?
That's where I started too.
Yeah. Then they built this school, and all of us, they had, because we lived in this, we didn't live in that Tully district. See, we're in this county. So they sent us all up to the Peachtree School.
So were you in the first class at the school? In the first, just after it was built?
Yeah, I went to school there after it was built.
Right. So I mean, we were one of the first classes there. Yeah.
That's asking me. If you'd have told me that, I'd have wrote it down years ago.
I see.
The first place, the school was in this area here around the George's place.
Out in that field.
I don't know where.
Yeah, I was told that. Yeah, I did.
And how, if it's the same building and all that,
I'm not
went
sure
on
of
up there and all, I don't remember.
Around which place, Pearl?
Right around the hill here.
Right here in this area where it was, and then it was moved up to
And you mentioned some name, the
George Rist.
George Rist place. Okay, yes.
All the younger Rist, her grandfather was Henry Rist.
Right.
And he had a brother, John, who owned the place my dad bought. And Fred Rist, the peasant place. With horses. Yeah.
But then, Pearl, as you said, after that, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, it moved up.
Where it is, where we're going to go there and show you where it is. Of course, the
where it
building's
was.
not there.
The building's not there.
Right.
But that's where I got my education.
Right. Oh, you did. Okay.
And Roy.
Yeah, we all went to school. See, we had a lot of fun.
How many?
The Evelyn family.
How large was the class? Was the number of students usually?
Oh, 6 or 7, 5 or 6
No,
or 8.
maybe a dozen.
Sometimes a dozen. Huh?
It all depends.
Yeah.
They might move tomorrow. See.
Right.
It was one.
Yeah.
That property was deeded to Peachtree School.
Bessie Richmond.
In
Her name was Cook. My dad went to school with her.
1898.
Bessie Cook. She was a nice.
So that probably was the time that it got going. I see. Very good. Very good. Thank you.
And we ended up buying it back 5 years ago or so for a lot more than that.
Very good.
Ladies, here's a gentleman who would like to ask a question. Does anyone have a picture of the 4-H group that first started here? Catherine may know that. Catherine? Yeah. Yeah, this 4. You're talking about the area, this area of Peachtree, or?
Do you have a picture of it? There's asking.
Or any of them?
I gave them all.
You gave them all to the kids.
Oh.
4-H.
Oh, I was thinking about the 4-H kids club. You had us both. Yeah, I own 4-H now.
Yeah, but you never took a picture before you put it down, or nobody did, you know.
No.
What was 4-H?
It's another pumping station.
Oh, yes.
Heating station. That
Heating station.
That's right, heating station.
Did he? Oh. Yeah, they pumped oil from Clingo to Monterey, and they had to heat it every once in a while.
Right. Now,
And they pumped it, too.
where was the 4-H?
Right up, it's up the road.
Just past Tully Hall.
Oh, just past Tully Hall.
Oh, over to your left there. There's 2 acres of ground there.
We'll pass it when we go to the station.
The ground is still there.
And is it fenced? Like sometimes they leave the old fences.
Yeah, the fence is
Still there, so you could, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But cattle go and run in there.
Sure. Oh, sure. Yeah.
The building's
That
down.
one right there with Catherine
Yeah.
Imwald.
Okay.
But there was a lot of history in
I
that.
haven't seen Dale for long. I don't
Pumping
know if
oil.
I'll tell
Oh,
you.
I would. He looks
Even
just
the
like
Christmas.
always.
Just think of it. Oh, Ralph
I
done.
gotta ask you, where did you and Evelyn meet?
That's the
Pretty
thing
personal,
was.
but where did you guys meet?
Well, somewhere, I knew, before I met Evelyn, I knew her sister Ellen.
The Pruitt family.
Well, I didn't meet her over there. I think I met her at her sister's place.
Ellen Clausen. Ellen Pruitt.
Yeah, she was Ellen. Ellen was Evelyn's sister. And Evelyn was there, and I think I was invited out to a tulip ceremony. one night. That's where we met. From there on, we made it all right. We got married at 2 o'clock in the morning at Reno, Nevada.
Oh, is that right?
1954. Why wait till the next day?
Right, right.
We got the county clerk. I remember Ed Erickson and Nellie.
I remember Nellie.
Roy don't have any pictures.
Nellie Classic.
Yeah, she was married to Ed Erickson. And we were running around Reno, and he said, "Why don't you get married tonight?" And, oh, it's too late. Oh, I know all. He knew the county clerk. He went and got him out of bed. Then we got the little minister, Brewster Adams. And you know Brewster Adams married Evan and I?
And Harold and Marie.
No, I don't. He might have. But Urban and Grace. And Eileen and Melvin. All of us, our family, were married by the same minister over there.
Oh, is that right?
Pardon? No, she's had a little problem here recently. She's recovering very nicely. She's home. Just think of it. Yeah.
Well, it might be time to go on to Pearls, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Boy, can you come with us over there?
No, I'm not going to go. I
Oh,
got
come on.
things I got to do.
This one's not too far.
Where are you going?
Just down the Pearls.
The cemetery.
To Pearls. To
Is there a
Pearls place.
cemetery here?
Yeah, up the other side of where the schoolhouse was.
Yeah.
She knows where the cemetery was.
Can we make sure this gets back to Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Anybody else want to
Yeah,
see
it ought to be taken care of, but I don't know who's going to put. You got to put the pressure.
We should fix this and make a copy of that somehow.
Yes.
One single really good copy.
And the one is on machine. She should make
Yeah, but I mean,
Yes.
they ought
Nobody
to.
needs that.
The markers, better markers.
And I'll help you make a copy of
I
that.
don't know how to.
Oh,
We can make a
one
copy of
marker.
that. Yeah.
One
You should
Oh,
have
that's
Pearls.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we
And
remind you
I
of that.
promised her my book on
All right.
no hydrogen.
Great. Oh, great.
Yes.
Hang in there, Al.
Pretty good on paper.
Yeah. I'll say so.
Did you mention the Spanish at all?
No, I didn't. Or the White family.
Yeah.
Ernest Bengard. Those from Hollister would know Ernest Bengard because he moved over there after he lived here.
The Lindy girls probably do.
Oh yeah, sure. They,
Which ones are they?
Josie White married a Vanguard.
Do you remember Ernest?
Ernest Bengard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ernest. And then there was Pete Bengard.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a lot of them. No, they were all Pete Bengard, Ernest, Stanton, Nels, up on the corner.
All the Vanguards.
You remember where Ann?
Boy, let's just talk about it.
Are you, which one is Charlotte? And,
Charlotte.
oh, that's Charlotte. Okay. And Lila. I've heard your name for years, Bill Bartosh. And we used to have a house in Hollister, and then we bought the ranch down Indian Valley. And so I stopped at the George Melendi Ranch and met some of your family. They gave us a nice tour, and they were really interested in the fact that I was interested in the history. But I've always loved the whole back road from Hollister on down. So, and it's good to finally meet you. I'm Bill Bartosh from down Indian Valley. We're just the second ranch over into Indian Valley. But I've known your name for a long time, and I know you really like the history. So it's just a pleasure to meet both of you.
And I just now had someone speak to me, and I couldn't see very well. And I remember I've seen Chicken Russell. I've seen her at conventions.
Oh, yes.
We used to go to all of the Calvin's conventions.
Great. Well, it's sure nice to have you here. Maybe we can visit over
You're
there.
doing video of it.
Right. That's right. It's a great event.
Frank Glatton.
Oh, Glatton. I've heard that. Nice.
Frank Glatton married Nellie Rist.
Oh, okay.
Roy, didn't
Well, Frank Glatton used to drive the mail
that's right.
before my dad started.
He was raised up there at Peachtree. This side.
That's what you told me. That's at Peachtree. That's right. Glatton. That was the name you gave me down there.
Oh, up on the other side of the Peachtree.
On the other side. Is that part they call the...
Before you get to Worcester.
The part they call the Merrill Ranch now.
Grade goes up there. I remember walking up with my dad and Frank up that grade.
Up that grade there?
Yeah, on the west of the house.
Was Glatton's house still there, or is it gone?
Yeah, there was an old house there then, but they built another one there since then.
Have you ever been here at the Valley? I have gotten a $2 tour from him every time I come around, and I'm loving it more, and I expect I'll die here.
What's your name?
My name is Brandy Bartosh.
Bartosh.
That's my sister.
Oh.
That's my sister.
Yeah.
Your sister?
Yes.
That's right.
Haven't you got a wife?
Nope.
Of all these pictures you're taking, you ought to have had your choice.
That's why I have to take so many pictures.
He's not through yet, huh?
What?
He's
I
only
want to ask
begun.
you a question.
Pardon? Oh, Bill.
Yeah, was you on the original board when Hepsidam Water Company was formed?
Yes.
Or who else was on?
Oh, yes.
Van Bengard and Harold.
Where you met?
Claire.
He was on the original board.
Dad.
And that's it.
Your dad,
Yeah.
how about Johnny Bill? Did he come
No,
on?
not till later.
Much later.
Quite a bit later.
You got
Is he
some
still
of the
living there, or did he sell the place yet?
No, he's still living there.
Still, he's trying to sell it. I don't know.
Yeah, I just read that.
We might, excuse me, hello, we might like to hear just a little about the Hepsidam Water Company, because Roy Bray was on the original board, which is something I didn't know.
Well, I can't tell you much about it. It was just the oil company owned, they built the spring. Or
The Associated Oil Company did?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
When they were pumping oil, they needed good water for their boilers.
I see.
They had to heat the oil. And then they came down to up here at 4H. This was a heating station. And the next one was a pumping station, but also heated the oil.
I see.
But they piped that water clear from that spring back up the mountains, clear up to the corner there, Bitterwater.
Does your ranch over here get onto that water line or not at all?
I do up the other end.
On the other end?
On the other
But
end.
we haul the water down here for the house. We have to haul it.
I see.
But we up there where the pipeline goes by, my cattle water off of that line.
Very good.
You and
I don't
Claire.
remember that old Hepsidam name.
Claire Van Bengard.
Gail, if you don't know of it, the Hepsidam Water Company is what Marie Eade writes frequently about. It's quite a long water line to serve not many houses. It's really quite interesting, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it, Dan? Yeah.
There's 36 people.
36 people on it, yeah. But it goes a long ways.
You and Claire and Van Bengard also. I think that's 5.
Almost 20 miles, I guess.
20 miles, There's Roberta.
There we go.
There's Roberta. There's the boss.
I got 4 and 5.
We named them a moment ago.
That's what I
Roy
was trying to
Berry,
remember.
Claire Schmidt, Van Bengard, Art Oswald,
Have you got Harold Eade?
Harold E.
Harold E.
There you go.
Yeah. That's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
the original directors of it.
No, if you volunteered or appointed or elected or.
Well, we were all in the group and our names were up and somebody had to.
Other words you after.
Her first name
That's Alberta.
his grandfather, great grandfather.
That's the name of that high peak. You can't see it. It's
What was the name?
Danny's great grandfather.
Oh, yes. There it is. How about that?
And then you tore them
Oh,
out.
yeah.
I never went up there.
Yeah,
I rode horseback around.
Just about everybody's in here, huh?
Well, that's
No, the wrist.
There's a Henry wrist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 31.
That's my grandfather.
Both their grandfathers.
So they were drunkards.
Your cracks were gone by that time, yeah.
Jeff knows a lot about that. He's worked on it with Claire. Jeff,
My husband dug out a big rat about this big. That guy went over there and he earthed up every drop of water he got.
He never had his life just
Can
right
you
out
blame
there.
him?
Because he drank the bad water, the bitter water, or
What?
because he drank the wrong water?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
we found a rat in
Oh.
in one of the redwood boxes for the Hepsidam project. And so he saw the dead rat and they said, oh, this is great water. He's saying it's wonderful. And then he sees this old, big old dead rat.
I think I've done the same thing.
Yeah, I think you do.
We're
That's what I'm afraid
What
of.
you don't know won't hurt you.
how about the old
We don't
cistern?
know.
How about the old cistern at the old school up here? They used to
It had water dogs in it.
water dogs and dead rats and dead mice, and we'd throw them
I saw
away.
water dogs. I've been drinking that.
Jeff was in school at the same time as I was.
I see.
I got a big reservoir like that up there. See the finch?
Jeff is a tall fellow, right? Jeff is a tall fellow. I met him once.
He's one of
A long
12.
time ago. Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Come on.
We put a solid concrete block.
We're going to probably ready pretty soon.
What are you looking forward to?
Jeff Smith here. Mr. Smith. Oh, yeah. Mini Eade right here. George, but this name George Engel I don't recognize. There's some wrist here. Fred Wrist.
Yes, Eagle must have sold that pretty early.
since 1880.
Here's Bounty Land.
That's one of the homesteaders.
And Sam Sawyer. We saw that name on the ledger.
Yeah, the Sawyer place was right up.
The Alvarez.
Well, that's
Vanguard. SAVHA, I don't know, recognize that one. But
No, which one?
the SAVHA name. There's some you won't recognize, I know. Henry Tully and here, heirs of Edward A. Tully, right here. Okay.
well, they go clear over to the San Benito.
Yeah, that's right.
Mike Ramirez, he's an old timer, or was.
Huh. This is great.
Small. That's for my place. Is it? Small was original. I shouldn't say it was original. This is kind of interesting. I've been trying to read up on the history of my particular place.
Yes.
And the old house. And
it's right in this area, huh?
This area. It turns out that there was a place just south of the lake. This little bit of a lake. There's a fence across there. They used to call it the Tully fence.
Oh yes.
And at that time, the Tullys cleaned everything south of the fence. Up to the hills, through the valley. The Tullys cleaned everything south of there. And sometime, some guys, they called the Portuguese, and nobody seems to know their name, but some Portuguese moved on this part of the Tully Ranch and just started some squatters' rights.
Right.
And finally, Tully decided he didn't want them there, so he paid them $200 for the value of their house, and they moved out. And then a year later, this guy Small, who was living up in the upper end of the valley, rented it from Tully and moved down there. And he moved his house. He just jacked it up and hauled it down with an 8-horse team.
There's Owen here. I know that name from Roberta, but anyway.
Yeah. So he moved down there, and then a couple of years later, he bought it from Tully. Then he got concerned about the title, and so he re-homesteaded it. And it was actually homesteaded in 1883, although he built the house in 1879.
I see. I see. How about that? How about that? Now, who was the builder of your house, though? Was that
Small?
Small. That was Small.
Yeah.
Because that's such a beautiful house. I mean, you got a good plan there or something.
Small was the owner and the builder, but this old diary I've been reading, everybody in the valley helped work on it.
Oh, is that right? Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet that's right. Yeah, I bet that's right.
One time or another. You were talking about the Zolan. That was
yes.
That was Robert Oswald and my grandparents.
Oh yes. And then Rudolph. You know, we know Bert Rudolph, and because his mother died recently, was Minnie Brennan Rudolph Warren. So I wonder if we can get a copy of this map, Jim. That would be really great. Yeah, this is just beautiful work.
Go to where?
Across the bridge.
Millie's.
Said we got to do that someday. And all the time we have. Running around.
Every time they go, they get reported. Well, Kiko would go and he'd stay for 2 hours. And Bill says, I'm mad at Kiko. He doesn't even get any money. He stays there for 2 hours. And Sammy says, well, after all, it's a prostitute. Bill says, a what?
Yeah.
He found out what prostitute meant.
Oh, gee. Yeah. Those were all, everything like that was all prevailing, and they weren't hurting anybody. No.
Right. Sure. Right.
Everybody was happy.
Finally got run out of town.
Oh, yeah, there's laws.